Hey, this is Chase from Two Star Wars Nerds, and this is the second part of our video on why we believe the Phantom Menace still holds up 22 years later. If you haven't checked out that first video, go ahead and check it out at the link in the description below. And also, if you're new here to this channel and you want to hear more about the prequels and you want to hear more about why the OT is awesome and Legends and just everything awesome in Star Wars, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button, hit that bell notification, because not only will we get amazing Star Wars discussions, you're also going to get entered for giveaways at every single one of our sub goals. So with that, let's jump right into part 2 of this discussion of why the Phantom Menace still holds up 22 years later. And that actually transitions really well into kind of the second point we have about this film. There are really well-established characters.
Yes.
And it's almost a little jarring because you just get dropped right into the middle of their story.
Right.
There's no like here's the thing. Luke Skywalker, you are dropped into the middle of his story, but you're kind of...
So you're dropped in at like a nice, normal beginning.
It's kind of like his life has been boring to this point, and
right.
He's dreaming of something bigger. These guys are running full force already. Even Anakin, as a little boy, has had a crazy life.
Right.
And again, it's this idea of immersion, that it's relentless. There is no holding back. Even the jargon that they use, all of these words that you're just expected to know, and you're like, what did they just say? And you have to research, and you're like, what does this mean? Like, you're expected as the viewer to know, but it's intentional. It's good fantasy and it's good science fiction.
Like that quote that you really like.
What quote? Oh, yeah. Okay, let's just do it. The best quote in this movie is from Kitster, where he says, "This is so wizard, Annie." Yeah.
Does that mean cool?
I don't know. I'm going to start using it, though.
All right.
Yeah.
Me too.
To be fair, I don't think Kitster is an established character. He just has a great quote. So, yeah.
So true.
But really, this movie, at its core, I think it's all about relationships.
Yeah.
And I would love to do another video where we really
break
look into the archetypes of these relationships. Because first you have Anakin and Anna's mother Shmi. You have this relationship there of a single mom who has been thrown into slavery with her son, and she didn't ask for a son. There's the whole thing of the Force actually creating Anakin, or even depending on your canon, Palpatine creating Anakin, and just the trauma of having to leave your mother behind in slavery, and the love he has for her, and
the love she has for him.
Yeah. And she's like, no, you're destined to go somewhere else, and I'm going to stay here. It's heartbreaking.
And that hits me a lot harder, obviously, as a kid.
Yeah.
But now I have a son, we just had a kid, and it's like, I can't, now when we were just watching that, I was tearing up. I've always thought that part was sad, but I've never looked at it from the perspective as a mother, to have to say goodbye to your son, but that's what's best for him. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it made me feel for her, and I could empathize with her a lot more. She was very strong to do that.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I was just like, man, I cannot imagine what that must be like. But that's the power of examining that relationship. And it really sets up the future of Anakin. It sets up the future of Darth Vader. It sets up the future of Anakin and Padme later on. And there is a little bit of Anakin and Padme in this movie, but not so much. It's a little creepy, to be honest. The age difference is a little weird.
Well, there's only one kind of weird part.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess knowing where they end up, it's, right. I don't know. It's, that age difference is all right, I guess, but it's just a little weird. But that's not really like a major plot point in this film. But another important relationship is Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Mm-hmm. And what I found really fascinating that I've seen, but I guess when I was watching it a little more critically this time, even though we're watching it for fun, I am watching it with a little more of a critical mindset. I never fully noticed how much Obi-Wan emulated Qui-Gon Jinn in this first movie. Mm-hmm. And what was really interesting is you would, even when Jar Jar first comes, and Qui-Gon is just roasting him, just saying, the ability to speak does not make you intelligent. And then he says, now get out of here. He's like, get out of here. And then Obi-Wan comes up and he's like, what is this thing? This sentient being. He's like, what is this thing? A local? And he's just like tearing him up. And then and then when he's like, oh, I don't want to take you to Gungan City. And then Obi-Wan's just tearing into him, And I'm like, that's not really Obi-Wan. That's Qui-Gon. Mm-hmm. But then you notice when the Jedi Code is being broken, Obi-Wan starts to kind of like back off a little bit. And he starts to be himself more. Mm-hmm. And I found that relationship really interesting. And you even see how literally Obi does anything that mm-hmm. Qui-Gon says.
Right.
Like, there's a little bit of question, but he just does it. And I think the pinnacle of their relationship is obviously, he sees his master die. Right. But then he takes Anakin on. He didn't really like this kid. Because when they picked him up, he's like, what did he say? He's like, it's like another, like, helpless or pitiful, like, soul. Nice. Like, he just, like, was like, oh, we're going to pick up something else, Like, we have this idiot Jar Jar with us, now we're picking up someone else. And what's wow. Jar Jar is an idiot, though. Okay, so we are back a little bit later. We had to stop recording because the snort woke our baby up. Whoops. And yeah, we had to go deal with that. And then everything's calm now, though. Lights are dimmed. We're back. But like we were saying, what's interesting is after all of that takes place, with Obi then saying that he will take on Anakin just out of his love for Qui-Gon. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Right. It is absolutely incredible. And then we have this other relationship, a dark side relationship mm-hmm. between Sidious and Maul. Right. But really, how could you not know Palpatine is Sidious? But nonetheless, you have the Sith not showing up for a millennium. Mm-hmm. And Maul is the first one who comes.
So cool.
It's so cool. Mm-hmm. Hey, it's Chase again. While I was editing this, I found that this discussion, it continues, and there's like another 12 minutes of discussion. And rather than just making an incredibly long part 2, I wanted to split this up into 3 parts. So we already have part 1 up. You just listened to part 2, and we're going to release part 3 when that's ready as well. I wanted to just get this content out there and not just have one incredibly long video. So you know what? If you liked this video, feel free to leave us a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, go ahead and leave us a thumbs down. That tells us that you didn't like it. And as always, if you aren't subscribed, hit that red subscribe icon, hit the bell for notifications, because we have giveaways at every single one of our sub goals, and we are so close. And with that, I am Chase from 2 Star Wars Nerds, and may the Force be with you always.